Well, tomorrow kicks off the 4th of July weekend, and President Trump is headed out to Mount Rushmore to celebrate. And the media is making a big deal about the crowd size and whether or not people will social distance, and of course, wearing masks. The president has received a lot of flack on the mask issue, as we talked about right here yesterday, but he responded to that controversy. Listen to this.
If I was in a crowd, a lot of people and everything else, I'd wear them. I have no problem with a mask at all. And I tell people, but I have a different kind of a life. But no, I have no objection to masks whatsoever. Do what you're supposed to do, and also do what makes you feel good.
All right, maybe he was watching our show yesterday after all. Well, let's bring in our company to discuss. Holly Turner, Republican strategist and former assistant administrator of the Small Business Administration under President Trump, and Susan Crabtree, White House correspondent at Real Clear Politics. Ladies, welcome.
Hi, Lindsay.
Thanks for having us.
All right, well, there has been so much controversy around this mask and social distancing and President Trump going out to Mount Rushmore to celebrate, but it's also been about the fireworks and that they could cause a fire. There's a lot of issues that people have raised about this, but I think it's interesting. Yesterday, he did address the mask issue and said he would be comfortable wearing one. He didn't wear one today in his press conference. People got up in arms about that. But Holly, the interesting thing is he says, I agree that it's a good thing to do and he would be willing to do it. And now people are saying, oh, that's not enough. Maybe he actually has to wear one. They keep raising the ante.
Right. I mean, look, are we surprised at this point? Nothing he does is ever good enough for the mainstream media. They're always going to criticize him. If he did wear a mask, they would say, he wasn't doing it the right way and that he looked silly doing it. So I don't blame him. But look, in this situation, the governor of South Dakota is watching the numbers carefully. They're currently at 3% hospitalization rate for coronavirus. They've still got 50% of their hospital beds are open. So she's making a decision to let their state and their people move on. The psychological health of her people is important to her. And again, they're not forcing anyone to show up. This is a free country, free choice for them to come. They can wear a mask if they want to. They don't have to. So for the media to criticize and say that the president doing this event and not wearing a mask is setting an example, bad example for the rest of the country is just absolutely ridiculous. This is not one size fits all. This is state by state.
Yeah, Susan, the thing that I thought was interesting is there was a story out today that basically said that there is no empirical evidence that the protests led to increased coronavirus cases. Okay, so fine, fair enough, but they were everywhere. There were massive crowds gathering. And there was very scant media coverage or concern about the protesters when they all gathered throughout the country. Yet Trump holds a rally in Tulsa. That's the #1 issue. Trump goes to South Dakota. That's the big issue. It seems as though the issue only matters, frankly, when it comes to if it's a group of Trump supporters that's gathering. If anybody else is, the issue doesn't get the media attention that it does.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. Look, I think that the fact that President Trump is going to Mount Rushmore after everyone has been so cooped up in their homes for the last 3 months. It's a wonderful celebration, and the people who are looking forward to celebrating this nation's birthday and the birth of our nation are going to embrace this and are going to watch it because they cannot have their 4th of July celebrations that have all brought us together as the wonderful melting pot that we have traditionally been in the past and been known for. Now our country is completely bifurcated, and now we have the shame police going on with this mask issue. I don't think the American public is in a mood to be lectured to, especially by the media. As a member of the media, I can honestly look at the polls, and the American trust in media is at an all-time low, and it's much lower than even how people view members of Congress. And not to mention, Donald Trump is above how people view members of Congress. So it's going to a crazy extent. We have reporters on Capitol Hill tweeting out and shaming members of Congress for not wearing masks. I think that we've had a lot of lectures. The American people have been hunkered down in their homes for so many months. They are just getting to go out in a very careful way. Everybody tried to do what they could. And the mask wearing issue, while it is it's a wonderful thing to want to protect other people, and people should be mindful of that. It's been confusing. The CDC guidelines have been confusing because they recommend it, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah, definitely. And I think something that's interesting about this as well is when you watch fireworks, it's not like when you go to a concert and everyone's packed together. You get out your blankets and almost have a picnic and there's some space in between you. Holly, we're almost out of time, but I think it's interesting that, to Sean's point, they're trying to make such a big deal out of something that people will probably be social distancing out anyway.
Exactly, especially in a state like South Dakota. I mean, this is not New York City where everybody's going to be crammed together. I'm from the South, and from some of these more rural communities, we don't encroach on each other's space naturally. We keep our distance. We're respectful of other people. It's not like living in an urban center. So this is the best place that they could celebrate like this. And I'm so glad the president's doing it. And I hope it's a great time for everybody that decides to go.
Hey, Susan, I just need a quick yes or no answer. Do you think that wearing a mask is actually going to come down to being a campaign issue?
Oh, certainly. I think Joe Biden is saying that it is a great thing to wear a mask, and he has shown that. And President Trump doesn't like to. I mean, he's in a sanitized situation for most of his time. And so, I mean, yes, it's politicized to the nth degree.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see how this thing goes. I hope both of you guys have a 4th of July. I hope everyone stays safe out there in South Dakota. And we'll know soon enough whether or not any of this was just a lot of hoopla or real reason for concern.
All right, well, have a great 4th of July, ladies.
Happy 4th.
All right. When we return, Sean and I will talk about that Harvard grad that got fired for her social media behavior when we return.